5 years ago, the existence of dungeons was confirmed in the world, and with that, several creatures began to appear. They appeared at the same time around the world, spitting massive creatures in the hills. This event was called the Stampede. 5 years ago, located in Sapporo, there is Hokkaido's largest dungeon, called Chikaho, outside the gates of Odori. One adventurer realizes our guy bumping into him, and the other questions what's wrong. He believes that he leaned on you. Our boy realizes that Chihako has been getting more and more crowded, but he thinks that the increase is recent. He ended the dungeon again without getting anything, and not to mention that it's not very popular. In the midst of the Japan confusion, the government has identified those who were qualified adventurers. His job is to risk life to enter the dungeon and defeat the monsters. He thinks he needs to work harder. He remembers other guys who take advantage of hunting, bragging about their achievements as a battlefield veteran, and could even appear as part of a big company. While our guy is immersed in his phone, girls notice Tatston there, saying has a big fan. They run towards the guy. Our protagonist also has a blog, but nobody cares what he posts. He then heads home in his car. This place used to be largely ruinous. He comes home while thinking about how he got better. Opening his garage, he says he's very tired, and something surprises him. He comes across a ladder leading to some place below, and rubble forming a winding entrance. He gets baffled, and he gets all that weird, and when he comes in, he realizes it's the entrance of a dungeon, wondering how and why it happened. A little ahead, he realizes his snow removal machine that cost him $700 has shocked, since has worked so hard to buy it. Now he doesn't know how Hell survived the winter if Hell need to take the snow with his own hands. Out there, he finds some kind of plate with a button above. Intrigued by it, he presses the button, and the plate starts to turn in front of him. The plate enters his body. He becomes perplexed and believes he needs to remove it from himself, but in this instant a system begins to appear in front of him. He gets surprised, questioning why a panel of skills is there with his name on it. Some time later, some army trucks arrive to the scene. The soldiers coming out of their question whether it's from this place that they contacted them. The other confirms that a dungeon was formed in the garage, questioning about the owner. Our guy introduces himself. They keep looking for the owner, and our guy tries to introduce himself again. It is then that they perceive him and perplexes question where he came from. He remembers that people seem not to see him at any time, and even after becoming an adventurer that did not change. The soldier apologizes and asks for his leave. He contemplates that one day his existence will no longer be ignored. The soldier asks if he has entered this dungeon. He answers that no. The soldier says it is a good decision, and he can safely enter after the barricade is installed. Time later, the barricade is placed on site. Our guy is surprised at the speed. The soldier asks if something was lost to the dungeon. He explains that his snow-taking machine. Everyone is sorry for his loss. They then say they're going to say goodbye now. Our guy thanks everyone for the job. The soldier asks if he's going to use the dungeon for training. He answers yes. The soldier asks you to be careful. Even with the barricade there, the important thing is to keep yourself safe. He thanks and everyone says goodbye with a greeting. But they are in doubt, because your shirt is not actually from the army. It is actually Florida. The soldiers leave, leaving our guy there. He grabs his dagger and gets ready to come in. The son of a beep wheel confirming he's an adventurer, and he goes in there. Our boy closes his eyes, asking for the panel to appear again. And so it happens. He understands that the panel only reacts to the dungeon. It is explained that magical items, as well as other types of treasure, can be found by killing monsters. These items may contain several effects that exceed human knowledge. He sits on the stairs and contemplates the system, questioning if there's a guide there. If the E means beginner, then should there be an A or an S for the best? Then it should have how to strengthen with items or skills with the points used. When you open the panel, you realize that the skill tree is what you usually see inside a game, with status and other things. But he soon becomes perplexed to see the stealth skill, questioning if it wasn't just a bad feeling after all. He has this ability that can be maximized. He asks if this is really important, and without thinking again begins to increase his strength. Ally also realizes the speed of growth, which is about the power gained by killing monsters, and soon understands that he ended up fooling himself and put all his points into it. He goes into shock when he realizes that he should have thought more before spending all his points. You wonder if there's any way to relocate the dots, but you put it aside and focus on continuing your exploration. As you go down the stairs, you notice a flat part of the dungeon, and you're amazed at the size. You realize it's a little bright, and while you stick the dagger in the wall, you don't realize the movement. Turning around, a centipede creature is staring at you. He goes into shock with the enormous centipede there. He remembers that they are beginner monsters, and according to the information their antennas and their head are their weaknesses. He decides to act, knowing he needs to focus on the antennas so she doesn't feel it, and then smashing his head, she attacks our guy, who manages to swerve by a little. It was supposed to be slower. But you believe you can handle it. He starts running towards it with speed, and with one movement he cuts off the antennae of the centipede, and in the second movement he strikes a head attack, but with his shell, he realizes it won't be that easy. She tries to attack, and our guy dodges again, and believes he must aim again at the same location. He tries hard to attack several times with his dagger, until you finally break the shell. The centipede drops dead on the ground, and our exhausted guy too, finally completing his first experience. By defeating, our guy thinks he should rescue the spoils before other creatures appear. Suddenly, his body gets warm, and he feels something strange. He is baffled that his condition begins to worsen, gasping whether it can be the effect of rising level. But you think something like this never happened before when you ventured into Chikaho. Is this due to increased growth? Or maybe it's something about centipede? I gained a lot of experience facing something weak, not to mention that I can use this shell as armor. Would this be a normal first experience? Our guy starts cutting the centipede pieces with his dagger. Some time later it finally ends. Has separated all of her valuable parts, and now he can make a full suit of armor with her. It can also be sold at a reasonable price, but he wonders if that fits in his purse. About her flesh, he asks if she could eat, remembering that her predecessors shared the flesh of monsters between two types, only those that were edible and those that were not. He cuts a piece and then leads to the mouth. It was a centipede, smellless and tasteless, so he ate. He realizes he can be eaten, but questions why he eats if he doesn't taste. After the appearance of the dungeons, the prices of raw oil and food emerged. Even vegetables are now considered food for rich people, so you can eat the centipede as a last resort. Time later, inside the house, he gets the latest news and looks at his blog. He visits a website about someone called Neru, which is a site about adventurers' experience. Made for beginner adventurers like him, it is said that survival rate can increase after visiting his site only once. It has a brief wiki about attack patterns and material collection methods, a newsletter of various types of information exchange, and blogs that are updated and checked every day. He sends a post, commenting on his first experience in finding a dungeon at home, hoping that many people will be stunned by his situation, but after a while, nothing happens. He remains in oblivion. Why is no one reading? Even if the quality difference between top blogs is not so great, rankers are those among the highest rankings in various points, like ranker you get from various companies, from equipment for free to money through mutual collaboration models. One of them is Bacon's, a popular rancher who teaches beginners in free time, named the Old Muscle Man. He takes advantage of the adventures by himself. Despite this, his skill is real. On the opposite side, Masatsugu, serious and focused, the person who is actively exploring and researching, called the hero strategist. He holds recordings of the most prudent and most difficult explorations of the dungeons of the Shinjuku Station in Japan. He gets sad that none of them give updates, questioning if they're on expeditions. Suddenly something catches his attention. This is Shigeru, the only woman in the top 10 of the ranchers. She's been training in the dojo since she was young and never lost a fight. Every one of them is so cool. Shigeru is also on a spec. Meanwhile, I'm just me. He keeps staring at the computer asking why only 3 views. But then he comes back to reality, thinking he doesn't have time to feel down, since now he has his own dungeon in his garage. Now he has his magic tools, so he should explore a little bit more. Convict, he makes his decision. This will certainly make me stronger. I need to overcome this existential crisis. Then he comes back excited for his personal dungeon. Inside, our boy explores again. He again defeats a centipede. As long as they're over 100 now, he feels a little guilty. It's like he's bullying them. He also got used to the feeling of weakness at level up. He kept exploring while making a detailed map. While walking, he noticed something above. Our guy was stunned to see dozens of centipedes at once. They started coming down fast, and our guy got ready for the fight. Now had cut the creatures with speed and practicality. One of them tried to attack him from behind, but our guy was fast enough to defend himself. Getting carried away, because yesterday only managed to defeat one, now it seems like it's in another body for its new capabilities. He questions whether this is due to maximized growth rate. He counts 200 of the dead creatures. In Chikaiho's dungeon there was a lot of people's competition for the monsters, and he alone kills humans of 200 in a few days. Even if he's growing up fast, he doesn't feel it. Even if he becomes stronger physically, his strength will be maximized, and he doesn't need to train the basics anymore. Our boy looks at the tattered dagger, imagining he needs something new. Commenting that you don't seem to have a boss on this floor, and your skill points have increased nothing so far either, he decides to venture deeper, and thus expresses his enthusiasm when arriving on the 2nd floor. There, you understand that the terrain looks more like the same. You heard that nothing changes until the 10th floor. The dungeons become more difficult the deeper I went. Only about 10% go beyond the 10th floor, between the so-called intermediate floors, and so little information ends up reaching the blogs to reduce the competition. It is also said that the size of the floors increases exponentially as it descends in the dungeon. He can't wait for it. Wondering what kind of monsters there will be, our guy spots some plants, questioning what it's about. Suddenly the ground between them shakes. Plants leap from the ground toward him, leaving him surprised. "Monsters, onions, what do you mean?" expresses our boy in shock. After a while, and with your dagger in pieces, our guy finally finished the job, has cut off several of the creatures, and has still panting, wondering who could do something like that. The tears of emotion because of the onions continued for a while, and he decided to return home. He could monopolize these vegetable monsters by the amount, but realizes that the creatures are already hunted enough. Looking at his broken dagger, he decides to go to the store the next day. The next day, a girl says she's tired. She asks if she could complete the quota of that day. Around her, several weapons and shields hover. Our boy, eating a little, expresses his happiness with the taste of Kitora's food, being an incredible experience. The old man is happy to hear it, questioning if it's okay to have given him so many fresh onions. He comments that yes, since you have helped him so much, and that neighbors have to help themselves. You comment that you used to pick that up in the past days, after your wife was attacked by the monster, and that touching that brings back old memories of her. He is sad that she rushed ahead without him, and misses you very much. Soon he leaves the inn, thanking you for the meal, and you ask if he will venture again. Our guy confirms it. He then goes to sell the spoils. The attendant is surprised where all that came from, but he didn't seem to see our guy who scared her. She asks him to evaluate the resources, leaving her surprised by the amount. He comments that there are about 200 pieces. She still questions if it's all his. Some time later, the evaluation ends. She explains that they were counted, 216 being the value of 1,000 yen those without damage, and 100 yen the damaged, and give him the full amount, expressing that it will be deposited into his account. Our guy is so happy to cry, as glad he can now have enough to fill the car tank. Following is heading to a gun shop, seeing all that is amazed. There are so many options available. While looking at the windows, it expresses that this great sword looks good, since many people use it as well, and that going to the dungeon with it would make him feel like a real adventurer. Thinking he would be even more popular fighting a dagger, he looks at some, and among them, a dagger of the Great Wolf, costing 1,000,000 yen. Expressed to be the expert for something middle class, the attendant welcomes him, questioning if he is interested in this item. Our guy is enchanted with the beauty of the young lady. She comments that she could open it to him if she wants. Our guy is surprised that this person notices his presence there and ended up getting more nervous than when he faced monsters. Is genuinely happy she gets your attention, saying he can catch him if he wants. Our guy then turns to the dagger, and when he gets a note, he can't get her out of the place. She explains that weapons made from dungeon materials choose their owners. She comments that he can test some input models, saying they're a little expensive, but his performance is really good. He takes a dagger, thinking it's a little heavy, but it really looks comfortable. He handles the gun for a while, and she comments that this is the Silver Wolf dagger, and it looks like he's capable of using it well. Our guy asks if she's incapable of selling weapons that others can't handle. She explains that many complain after buying weapons based on her appearance and cost. She remembers the situations of the complaining customers. He expresses that this seems difficult. She expresses that she sent them away after giving them a painful experience, and our guy coldly observes the comment, commenting that he doesn't care, since she won't focus on the attacks on her face. Our Panisic guy comments that she won't ask for a refund. She asks if has an adventurer of average level. He answers that he just started. She understands that, since his armor is considered damaged. He expresses that it's just lack of talent. The girl leans on the fratu and scratches, making our boy's heart beat harder. She suddenly jumps over the counter, approaching our boy who's surprised. She expresses doesn't want him to die. Ask if it seems strange to think so. Our passionate guy says no. She asks him to team up a little better armor then, or else he might end up dying. Our guy already fell for her, says hell buy the armor. He comes out with a big package and his purchases, a 50 in centipede armor, a Silver Wolf dagger for 98 yen, and a Strana mask for 500 yen. She thanks our guy's purchases. She's thrilled to have completed her quota of that day. Her name is 27-year-old Yuduki Akane. Armor selling, she expresses glad that her sales skills improved. The mask she sold issued a miasma so strong that no one bought, and she managed to sell even without being a magic tool, commenting that this guy was too easy. When she's about to leave, see the armor he left there. Remember that the Silver Wolf dagger is an equipment of the average level, and he should not have been able to use. Our monsters of Chikaho floors 6 and 8, their high-quality pre, are transformed into weapons. He questions if he is even a beginner. Our guy, in the meantime, still wondering why he bought so many things, he moves down the first floor of Chikaho. He thinks of the number of people there, and that after experiencing his garage dungeon, he can't understand the appeal of this dungeon to people. He would normally need to compete for the monsters on the first or second floor, but today will be different. He looks at the rankings above, waiting that one day he will go to the deepest floors of this dungeon. After descending the floors, he realizes that something changed in the status, updated something about the deepest floors, and he received points of skill, believing that he cannot remove them from the dungeon. Automatically, he cuts a centipede creature that approached behind his back. He realizes that she is much weaker, imagining that they are no longer a challenge to him, or would be this dagger, since the lady commented that this weapon has a good performance. He gets carried away, speaking loudly that hell do it. As he goes down some more floors, realizes that the number of people has decreased a lot, and understands that now hell find more monsters ahead. That's when he hears a noise. A rabbit quickly comes towards him. He hits him, and an adventurer runs to our guy, wondering if he hit him. Our protagonist realizes it's a killer rabbit. It was a very heavy attack, and had be finished if it wasn't for his new armor. These are creatures much stronger than the centipedes, and he can sense his murderous intent. Our guy prepares for combat, and the rabbit comes in his direction jumping with his claws. He blocks the attack with his dagger, trying to roll over, but the rabbit dodges, picking up momentum for a new attack. Our guy stays tuned for his moves. and with a definite blow he cuts him hard. Our guy looks back surprised to get defeat. The adventurers finally arrive, surprised that even having found the rabbit, now has dead. Our boy comments that it was for his gun. They don't seem to notice him, saying that something was faster than them. He notices his hand trembles, questioning if it was for the monster. The adventurer says they should be faster. Another rushes him, saying that the stampede is coming. That leaves our guy stunned. It doesn't make sense to collect now. They run away while our guy runs in the opposite direction. Sometime before, a girl walks among the many adventurers there. Someone catches her attention. If she's Karen, she confirms, saying it is. They're impressed, because they saw it on the recruitment forum. They thought it would be another gay guy trolling. She introduces herself, and asks them to take care of Idla today. The guys also introduce themselves by saying their names. One of them questions her age. She explains being 18. They get perplexed, questioning if she may not be reliable, but it's better than having a rookie. Her jokes and insults continue. Then they get ready to come in, asking her to follow us. The girl believes she should get her equipment, but continue with them. The express night will be easy, since they are normally on the 9th floor. Some time later, she is gasping. They believe she may be a newcomer after all. She thinks that just for causing some damage, she feels tired of rising level, questioning if she can continue there. She expresses that she is well. The writer comments that she is strong enough for a normal girl, explaining that adventurers usually stay between the 1st and 2nd floor, since below becomes very dangerous. She's about to say something, but the archer gets the attention. The others get alarmed, wondering if they are close. He says yes, and they'll be here soon. That's bad. What do we do? The archer says it's obvious, so they start running fast. The girl doesn't understand very well, but the writer lets it blow up as a stampede, talking about shock while running. She was frightened when the noises increased. A stop of monsters is a wide migration of the dungeon creatures. It is caused by various reasons, and adventurers should always prioritize retreat. She soon realizes that she needs to run, but sees others moving away. The girl starts running when she sees it. The others wonder why she's taking so long. They start fighting each other, because they need to help. But they don't want to be caught in the middle of all that. The girl realizes the confusion as she runs. They make their decision, and if they turn to her, the girl is surprised that they'll stay to help, happy to have people so trusted by her side. Thinking you need to hide so you don't interfere, but she's pushed back by man's shield. She goes into shock without understanding as she slides on the floor. He apologizes, saying she'll be a distraction to them. The girl, she looks at everyone running away and leaving her, hearing the noises look back. Several rabbits surround her, creatures with pointed blades like horns face her. She cries in shock, saying she doesn't want to die, asks someone to save her while our boy runs. He hears it's getting louder. The creatures appear, and he sneaks between them in a corner of the dungeon. Soon he sees the defenseless girl crying among the monsters. Our guy grabs her mask, commenting that she needs it, even if it's a little bit. He needs every possible force putting on the mask. A point is added his stats. The monsters begin to jump towards her, who cries out in fear and blood. Our boy cuts the rabbits by surprise, who is shocked by our guy's terrifying mask. The rabbits start jumping towards him. He doesn't waste time, setting up his position, giving them precise cuts. Their spaced cuts catch several rabbits at once. He feels very well the difference that only an increased point causes. His body is warm, and he feels sick. His head hurts very much. But he feels all this much more fun than before, so this is really adventuring. After many blows our guy gasps, tired of fighting so many monsters. Our boy was tired over many bodies of slaughtered rabbits, glad to be still alive. The girl turns to him, a little scared. Our guy thinks is seeing because of the mask. She apologizes for acting like this. He asks if she should take off the mask. She just takes her hand, crying, thanks our boy for screen saved. Thrilled, she's really grateful. I thought this would be the end of you. Our guy is surprised by the girl's genuine happiness, tears. Is also happy to know that he was able to help the girl, while later resources bags are filled with the spoils of the confrontation. He thanks for the tello help to collect the materials. She introduces herself as Karen Kurosaki, and he introduces himself as Haruki Kuraboshi. She questions internally if he does not remove the mask. They decide to return. She wants to help carry a suitcase. On the way back, Karen asks if he's a rancher. He explains that he's just a beginner, but that sounds strange to the girl. Since he was able to throw himself against so many creatures, he contemplates that it was really crazy, leaving her worried. Our guy is also perplexed by all this, thinking it's because of her skill system, but she wouldn't understand if she did. Our guy comments that she went through a group of 3 people on the way, questioning if she knows them. The girl, with sadness in her eyes, explains that they were recruiting new members in the Nara Forum, thought they would help her evolve. She grabs frustration her baton. Our guy thinks that an adventurer's job is to help protect people. He couldn't forgive those who work so as to abandon the weakest. Of course there will be times when it's necessary to abandon his companions. But these guys are different, they can't be forgiven. Inside a store, someone asks you to look at this. It shows a paper, saying that compared to the previous years the real gain of your store rose 200%. The girl asks how her shop is going. The answer is frustrated and says shut up. The redhead comments that although she is her senior, her years of work has been meaningless. The other one is upset with the attitude she is taking, but the girl continues, saying that everything is related to results. Between the two, she is young and beautiful, giving results, and she, a middle-aged old woman who should be clear in a single look. The woman gets angry with her words. She apologizes when suddenly someone shows up. The two welcome. The girls are shocked at the person wearing the mask carrying so many resources. He'd like to sell all these resources, asking to evaluate the materials. The redhead falls in surprise, wondering if it's not the same guy who came to your store. The attending asks if they're killer rabbit horns. Karen explains that there's about 100 of them there. The redhead thinks they're not monsters that a beginner can handle, questioning whether he's lost them in a single afternoon. Not to mention that females don't have horns, so they may have had even more of them. This couldn't be a bronze-level adventurer. Some time later, she explains that after the evaluation, the 101 horns will yield 202 yen. She asks if he would like to use the division of resources for the team. He questions what this is. She explains that it is something done to divide the payments separately. He then asks him to do it, leaving the girl surprised. She says she didn't do anything. Our guy says she helped carry the horns. She keeps saying that all she did was this. She didn't help fight. Our guy then says that she carried 48 horns, so they'd split it by screen helped. The redhead behind the counter is shocked. How come he defeated alone this huge amount of killer rabbits? She shows up suddenly, getting the attention of the attending. Our guy is surprised. The redhead asks why she doesn't calculate again. She explains that she'll have extra work if she does. She explains that they are strictly commanded not to redo the service. The redhead becomes displeased, questioning if she is stupid, commenting that she is really very slow. The redhead appears from behind the table, apologizing for the delay. Our guy is surprised. The redhead quickly begins with her insane calculations, and after a few moments, sweating, she thanks the wait, saying that the values were deposited in her accounts. They thank and leave. Our guy thinks he was definitely the same gun shopkeeper. The girl questions the reason for all that. She asks if she doesn't understand the situation. This is a very important client. She says it's okay to leave the boss commands aside there, even if she needs to hear some. It's the client who's paying her salary. The attendant questions the treatment, talking that she will report it today to the superiors. The redhead says she doesn't care, commenting that she will thank it in the future. She just smiles, contemplating its realization. Our guy is about to get in the car. Karen questions how to pay her for everything. Our guy thinks he doesn't need anything from the girl, but she really wants to show his gratitude. Flushed, she asks him to tell her, no matter what she needs, she'll do it. He stands there, wondering if it's what he's thinking. She smiles, while our guy questions if this 18-year-old girl and a 27-year-old could actually be a group. Has too out of social circles for that. He closes the door and quickly leaves, telling her not to worry. Our boy stops at a hotel, commenting that he's untrustworthy to drive home this time of night. He falls straight into bed tired of the day Pachadio. It's only then that you realize he's been wearing this mask all this time and he doesn't realize it's because the receptionist was so scared now, he just thinks about how scared the guy was. You remember all the people you saw while you were wearing that mask, and now people realize it, unlike before. This must be some kind of super powerful item, right at the tavern. People stood around him like he was popular, but in the end they didn't see him there. Believing that a wall was on the scene, the guys talk about someone strange wearing a mask suspicious. Our surprised guy asks if people are seeing him now, crying with joy for it. He takes the glass and lifts it up, asking for another drink. The others are surprised, because there was someone there, and then later, our guy comes out of there, going back to the hotel. He goes back to the forum, saying that his post today will have great content, hopes they really have reactions, remembers that the girl also posted, and soon comes across her post, which talks about the adventurers who dropped it, and turns to their savior, thanking. After a while with no views, he goes to bed in tears. While sleeping, people start commenting on his post, questioning if he's a liar, and how he could survive a parade of monsters. Another has knowledge of the girl who was saved, others just want to ignore, while others start following him. One of them says they should identify this person. When he wakes up, our guy is surprised. He really didn't think this would happen. Finally he was noticed, his presence began to grow online. Our guy gets very excited, thinking you should go home, and then get in the dungeon to level up, but soon realized that coming home now could be bad. He runs among the adventurers, as he remembers the girl, thinking that he should send a message. To repent he finds her there, but she is the one who calls him excited, as surprised, giving him his day, questions how she noticed his presence there, thinking it's the first time anyone calls him is perplexed. She comments that his mask really catches the eye, only then he remembers that he is wearing it. He is surprised that the mask really has some effect. Thanking the girl who sold it, Karen is puzzled by his reaction. He talks about yesterday's guys, looking around, he spots them, getting her attention. He asks her not to move. Our guy thinks the three of them came to see if she ended up dead or not, and if she was alive, to stop her from spreading the story would end up threatening her, or even could kill her. He thinks they're despicable beings. They notice the two over there, arming themselves, start running in their direction. Our guy is surprised by the situation. In a place full of people, what are they thinking? If he dodges the shield, a flex would come. Even after that he has to deal with the sword. He tries to pay attention, trying to find a way to escape all this. But soon, the man in the shield moves quickly by drawing a sword and targeting our boy. At this instant, swords clash, someone intervenes the advance, and the warrior is thrown back with force. The man asks what the hell is going on over there, turning to our boy. Our guy and Karen, they realize it's about the hero Masatsugu. Everyone starts to cry out for the hero. Our protagonist asks when it was that he moved into their midst, without understanding where his speed could come from. The fallen warrior comments that Karen and our boy were threatening them. They had pushed them into a parade of monsters, and they thought they would die. Our guy gets frustrated with his words. All other adventurers saw their attention to them, commenting that this is something really criminal. The hero questions the truth, and our guy explains the situation, that they went to the dungeon with this girl, and when the monster parade happened, they used it as bait to escape. The hero quickly believes in the words, leaving the others uncomfortable, saying that they risked their lives, but he exudes in his direction, saying that they dared draw their swords against human opponents. At this point, they had nothing left in their favor. The warrior comments that the other was also about to attack, while Karen, still worried, asks if everything will be all right. Our guy expects this to be the case. The police just left without questioning them. But at least they had the hero on their side. He in turn questions our guy's name. He presents Comp Carabas with pseudonymo as heir. The hero looks fun with it. He comments that our guy seems very strong. He is surprised, not knowing his intentions, the hero exclaims that even in this situation he is hiding his presence, has been doing this for so long in the dungeon that this must have become a habit. Our guy seems to confirm internally. The hero, fun, comments that among everyone he has ever met, he is the one who has been able to do this perfectly, saying his eyes look good too. He approaches, commenting that it's better he doesn't come to this town for a while. Our guy questions about murder. He confirms as a possibility. Until then, he'll take care of these guys somehow. Our guy gets restless, because he doesn't want to give that job to the hero, but he warns that if everyone thinks it's an adventurer, then they'd have problems from all sides, so even his upset imagines as with these assholes. Masatsugu gets angry, but our guy is surprised he even has an expression of hate like that. The hero comments that he had stayed in Ryehoro for a while. Our guy says he had left it with him then. The hero takes care of dealing with them, so our boy comes out of all the turmoil. Our boy expresses surprise at seeing someone's status for the first time and is going to try to do it to get a reference. As he looks, he realizes that his status is really at extraordinary levels, but he still has the potential to grow. Is completely shocked by what he sees, thinking that rank A is very high and it seems to have the divine protection of a Shikigami, questioning if it also has some divine revelation. When it is about to click on a button, the screen disappears. Soon she realizes that it's because the hero left the range area, also wanted details of her gun. That's when Karen gets close to him. She expresses that she would like to go with him to the dungeon. Our guy is surprised by the attitude. She comments wanting to go somewhere far away from there, mentioning the dungeon in her house. Our guy is surprised, questioning how. She answers that she knows has the same person who wrote the article "A dungeon appeared in my house." She says she read this article listed on the Narrow blog, is surprised that she's one of her little readers, and that's a very rare experience. She's in a hurry to go through with it. But our guy comments that she didn't even go to her town. There's no way she knows anything about it. She asks about having a dungeon. He says yes, but it's a long way from there in a remote country town, and if she's late her parents will be worried. She asks you not to worry, with a sad look, leaving our guy surprised. They go back to their house in the protagonist's car. He thinks she's an adventurer, so she's already determined to risk her life and fight like him. Believing that she already knows the pain of losing something important, they continue their journey. Some time later, the girl's happiness turns into a surprise, since it's really a remote area in the countryside. When they arrive at the scene, she comments that there really is a dungeon in the garage. Surprised, she believes it seems very practical, questioning where he exchanges the spoils. He comments that there is nothing there, leaving her in doubt. She's shocked she doesn't even have a gun store. Our guy just asks her not to look at them like that, and the only thing there is online stores. She comments that now things can change because a dungeon has appeared. He just comments to take a look inside. She asks which monsters appear on the site. He explains from the centipedes. He asks her to be careful, because they can break her armor. He thinks about his weapon and armor. They're not very popular in the dungeon among adventurers. It's something of entry into the industry. But he knows she's well informed on the blogs and wants to know more about it if she has the opportunity. When the first centipede appears, Karen goes into shock. Our guy still tries to calm her down, saying that the creatures there aren't as strong as they look, but she's almost having a heart attack. He comments that it's a great opportunity to hit a blow, stepping on the bug. Karen shakes again. He tries to reassure her by saying her weak spot, but she's still in shock, questioning how he doesn't feel disgusted. Our guy comments that they're even cute. Just look at the way they move their legs, or the way their body swings. Karen asks him to stop describing it. She'll die before she even tries you just for the chills. He gets the girl's attention, questioning if when a monster suddenly appears she'll turn the eyes of adversity. He explains that centipedes aren't lethal. But if she doesn't look because she's disgusted she might end up dying. Questioning if she is a girl afraid of everything that makes her disgust, or an adventurer who had looked at reality before her. Karen seems to make her decision, walking towards the creature. She lifts her bat, then hits the centipede in head, she gets sick, and our guy thinks the feeling of evolving is really displeasing. Karen questions how long it's been since has become an adventurer. He answers that it is this year, leaving her surprised. She asks if he had an interest in martial arts, but our guy says it's nothing like that. He thinks has been trying to raise some money to keep himself. Karen asks how he may have become so strong, since she's still weak. He, while lifting the girl up, comments that if she exterminates some of them will become stronger. Karen, with a genuine evil look, says she'll do her best to exterminate them all, leaving our guy surprised. Sometime later, they face more of the many centipedes. Karen keeps hitting them until she gets tired. Our guy thinks it's about 100, and it's dangerous to leave one alone, yet it's different from when he's alone, and that the difference in his growth rate is certainly great. Karen apologizes. She asks for a break. Our guy confirms. Karen leans against a wall, trying to recover. Our guy is impressed that she hasn't complained so far, saying she's got determination and no shortage of hard work. He decides he'll help the girl a little more. Opening her point window, she realizes that all her attributes are in the smallest level possible, but with the possibility to grow, while the girl wakes up suddenly, questioning what she would do if the centipedes appear in her dreams. As surprised that has never seen a skill like magical power before, questioning if you still don't have any information about magic. This is a skill that adventurers have been looking forward to. He would like to see it with his own eyes, but if she's hiding it, it means she must be avoiding. He looks at his window, thinking that beginner adventurers try to protect themselves from the maliciousness of others, since it is dangerous to give unknown information. He calls Karen, commenting on whether she can use magic. The girl gets defensive, questioning why he asks. He panics, commenting that his armor looks like girls who can use magic. She thinks magic girls wear dresses, leaving our guy in doubt. But he explains, commenting that since there are magic weapons, there should also be abilities. She comments that if anyone could do it, she doesn't think they would make it public unless they were an advanced user. He questions the reason. She thinks it's dangerous. Our guy understands that she seems to be protecting herself. He thinks about whether this luck is good or bad, and it's not something he has, so it must be something related to magical power. In a way, it's a bet. Hez about to click on something, and the girl internally questions what Hez doing. All of a sudden, the ground starts shaking, leaving the two alarmed. Hez got a bad presumptuousness about it, and they should get out of there. The two of them start running. Our guy thinks it looks like something breaking, thinking it could be a taste of centipedes monsters. If many of them got together, it would be a big problem. It's how much a huge centipede appears in front of you. Our house questions why this is on the first floor. It is said that it appears on the 8th floor and is poisonous, besides very fast, and feels the odors. The creature quickly passes through the two at high speed. He runs to protect the girl, asking him to take care of attacks from behind. Without realizing the centipede is ready to strike her, he expresses that the creature is after her, and that kind of monster shouldn't be there, so it's a rare monster. Rare species are mutants, and some may be stronger than walking bosses. Our guy hits her hard, but he realizes he didn't do any damage. His shell is harder than usual. She attacks him, and our guy realizes he could have lost his arm. The creature is armed to attack again, and when it is near, its head explodes suddenly. Our surprised guy, he realizes it was Karen who did this to his magic. The mutant centipede wraps around itself, and they come out of the dungeon. She seems happy. Looking up at the sky, he realizes how beautiful it is. Our guy thinks he didn't used to notice it. A little ahead, he sees a little commotion up there. When they get close, they realize on a sign how to buy and sell weapons and materials. With the name of the section of their city, he is impressed that they did that. The surprised girl that was not there when they entered the dungeon. Our guy thinks that they usually investigate offer and demand, and that to open this must have researched. It seems that the site is pre-manufactured and was placed there on the same day. As they enter, they think they can sell their materials, but deep down they perceive someone dark with an aura of despair. The girl in there, from the welcome, commenting that the place is still empty. Our guy realizes that she is the attendant that time. She with tears in her eyes observes them in tears. She cries, questioning why she ended up in a place like that. Our guy turns around, saying she'll be back later, thinking she's different than usual, but the redhead rushes to the door, commenting that a girl is crying in front of her. Some time expressing her frustrations, she leaves the two of them there without ground. She comments that it is very cruel to have been sent there after so much work in the company, even if her sales have grown. Just because she bought materials from another shop without permission. He asks if she's buying. The girl says yes. The fact that she's being sent into the middle of nowhere doesn't mean she's incompetent. Our guy's still surprised by the aggressive attitude of the girl. She puts on her gloves and sees the shell of the giant centipede. She expresses having 96 centipedes that yield her 1 yen each, questioning if he really wants to sell the big centipede. Our guy asks without understanding. She explains that armor made from his shells would be better, and something he should want now. If he has the materials, will come out cheaper than buying one. He comments that he will sell them. When questioned, he explains that he barely survived today, commenting that if an equipment is too high for his level, he will not be able to use it. She expresses that she will leave 2 pieces, that she will buy the rest. She explains that she will have a moment that he will need it, but will not have it. Our guy is impressed with the attendant. She comments that 8 shells of the giant centipede will give 40 yen, totaling 138,000 yen everything. He asks her to repart again, but Karen quickly opposes, saying he should receive more. He explains that she also helped kill all the centipedes. She comments that she was only able thanks to him, and could not do anything alone. The attendant is restless with her indecision, asking them to hurry. He comments that finally they decide, while the attendant complains about the afternoon sun being too strong. Our guy says there's something else he'd like her to evaluate, throwing something like a bag full of goo there. He explains that it came from inside the centipede's stomach while they were collecting the materials. She asks if he wants a simple or detailed evaluation. When asked about the difference, she explains that something simple could be done by herself and would take a minute costing 1,000 yen. Something detailed would be done by the quartiles, since they have the equipment, and could take about a month, at a cost of 100 yen. Our guy, surprised by the value, comments that he prefers to simple, since it seems clear that it is a magic bag. She accepts the task. Karen puts her whole arm in the bag. The attending comments that it's no doubt a magic bag. The entrance is small, but she can put bigger things, and her interior is about the size of a classroom. Questioning if he would like to sell, when he replies no, she explains that she would buy for 100 million yen. Our guy, without understanding, repeats the value, still shocked. She explains that it is the market price, and transport prices are getting higher in these times. He seems really surprised by the value, but decides that he will keep it for now. They say goodbye and come back. Karen asks permission to enter. They both come into your house. She is surprised to be at Karabosh's house. Seeing a computer, it explains that it has solar panels so it can use energy freely. She's jealous because she usually has limitations on the use of energy. He comments on her sitting down, giving her a glass of water. The girl doesn't exist, and then drinks. He comments that the fresh water from the fountain is great. She agrees. Our guy knows that drinking fresh water today is almost a luxury. Karen questions something he'd like to talk about. He comments about her being able to use magic. The girl apologizes for hiding that from him, but our boy expresses that it was the right thing to do. It would be dangerous if others found out, commenting that adventurers should be free of restrictions. She questions her idea. Our guy comments that it would be great if she did, since no one would see her in this dungeon, expresses that if she keeps using, her ability will grow, and even if she finds herself in a situation like that day she can run away. The girl is surprised by this revelation, and decides that she started using it then. He questions how she can use it. She answers that it is difficult to use it outside the dungeon. He understands that, asking since when she can. Karen explains that while she was in the dungeon she had the feeling that she could do it, That's when I try using a one-handed gun. And that's why she started using a staff, since magic seems to flow better. Our doubted guy thinks that maybe the magical power comes from the dungeon, and she becomes an intermediate, something that's stored in the gun and then released. She asks if that's all it was. Our guy, as he fills the glass of water, asks where she's going to spend the night, and Karen, no problem, answers that she'll stay there, as perplexed to hear that, not believing what she said,